Ever since Sony released their first full-frame mirrorless camera back in 2013, I've been wanting to make the switch from a digital SLR to mirrorless. But I did not want to switch to Sony for a handful of reasons. Some of which are the camera is built on the Minolta system, which to me is a turnoff. Here come the hater comments. You see, I used to work at a large camera warranty company and had the ability to see firsthand how poorly made Minolta cameras were and how poorly made Sony cameras were. Yes, Sony has evolved over the years and they're much, much better now, but the mount is still based on Minolta. I did not want to switch lenses. I have been a Nikon user thanks to my grandfather who left me his Nikon equipment when he passed. I like having good battery life, and the Sony batteries just aren't up to par. When I tried the A7 II, I was not impressed by its low light capabilities. I used it at an indoor birthday party as an experiment, and it couldn't handle the event. As mentioned in the first noted reason, Sony has evolved. They've come a long way, and the cameras are far better than the older models. So a big kudos to Sony for working hard to make better equipment. There are additional reasons, but I thought I'd share a few before moving on. Over the years, I tried a bunch of mirrorless cameras, both full frame and crop, like the Leica M9 and the Sony A7II and the Sony A7R and the Fuji XT-1 and the Panasonic GH-5. Of those, the one with the best build and image quality was the Leica M9, but it was also the slowest due to the nature of a rangefinder and the most expensive to maintain because, well, Leica is simply overpriced. The Panasonic GH-5 worked well for a short time because of its video capabilities, but I was not fond of the still image quality. Due to my dislike of all the mirrorless cameras I tried, I stuck with my Nikon D850 for video and still work, until the Nikon Z series was released. With that though, I had my concerns, and here are some of those. The Z series cameras use XQD cards, which are expensive and not common among other brands. However, the card slot is far more upgradable to CF Express, which would make the cards even faster and, well, as less expensive as well. The CF Express cards are not out yet, but when they are out, there's that. The Z series cameras require new lenses, the S line for Z bodies. Why they called it the S line instead of calling them Z lenses is beyond me. The Z camera requires the use of an adapter, the model FTZ, F mount to Z mount. And that's to use the F-mount lenses on these new bodies. This is just like if I want to use my Nikon F-mount lenses on a Sony body, I'd have to use an adapter. Although the advantage of the FTZ adapter is, well, you can use the full autofocus capabilities, even with F-mount lenses, where you can't on a Sony body. And you even get the in-body stabilization with F-mount lenses on a Z body. There's also only one card slot on the Nikon Z6 and Z7. They could have easily made 2 XQD slots or 2 SD card slots if they really wanted to, even though they're saying they couldn't fit. It could have fit. Now this doesn't bother me too much as I carry a Western Digital My Passport Wireless Pro with me whenever I travel to do backups on the fly. But I can understand why this would bother some photographers. That was the extent of my concerns, but after spending some time with the Nikon Z7 and now owning a Nikon Z6, I can honestly say that it's one of the best Nikon cameras I've ever owned. And definitely the best mirrorless. Not only is the EVF spot on and incredible, not only is the autofocus, including in video, fast and accurate, but the battery life is amazing. It uses the same long-lasting battery as a Nikon D850, and it continues to last a long time in the mirrorless body. I can go for an entire day of capturing images and videos on one charge. I almost forgot to mention that people were complaining that the camera has no eye AF, which uses the software in the camera to guarantee focus on eyes. Well, Nikon already announced that it's coming with a firmware upgrade soon. A small side note, I wish that the camera had a flip out screen similar to the Sony 6D and some other cameras. Instead of just a flip up and down style, I wish I had a flip out so I didn't have to use an external monitor to see myself when I'm doing self-recording videos, but it's not the end of the world. Now, I am a mixed camera type user. I use a Nikon D850 for the work that requires those megapixels and that dynamic range, like commercial work. I use the Z6 for all of my videos now, as well as street photography work, photos of my own family, and other daily things. It's literally on my hip with the spider holster all day, every day. It's light, compact, and flawless. So far so good, and I might switch from the Nikon D850 to another mirrorless with that high of megapixels and dynamic range. Maybe in the future. Maybe the second iteration of the Z7 or whatever comes next. Maybe something with 2 card slots if they make it. Why? Because once you use an EVF and find yourself loving it, you never want an optical viewfinder again. But for now, split use is what I'll be doing. My Nikon Z6 setup is as follows. The 24-70 f4 lens that came with the camera, a Spider Light holster, the Spider Pro clamp, the Really Right Stuff L bracket, the Wine Country camera 72mm 3-stop neutral density filter, the Nikon FTZ adapter for all my f-mount lenses, and finally the Spider Light hand strap. Now eventually I will be adding in the 14-35 f4 for video work, but for now that's not available yet, and I'm not spending that kind of money on the lens just yet. This is my move to mirrorless. It's been a slow road with some bumps and hurdles, but I'm glad to finally be on this journey for the long haul. If you're interested in seeing the quality videos to come out of the Nikon Z6 in sort of real world vlogging and educational style footage, visit my YouTube channel and click on the subscribe button. Maybe even karate kick the notification bell. Thanks for watching.